I mean, and some of the episodes that you've had, I mean, you've had some pretty amazing people. Like you had, oh goodness, how do you, Sophia, the
Sophia
girl,
Moroso, yes,
yes,
yes, yeah,
Sophia
yeah,
Moroso. Yeah, you had her.
yeah,
And I mean, it's just like, and the questions you ask are not your typical questions that you would hear on a podcast because they
yeah.
go, like you said, so much deeper. So I'm curious,
Mhm.
how do you find your guests?
I find my guests through, people that I'm inspired by, people that like I look around and I'm inspired by. And we're the podcast at a point now that we get people every single day asking to be on the show. And some people I'm really inspired by. Like the other day, we had Sri Guru Dev, Sri. His sort of name in the space more publicly is Guru Dev, but the sort of longer name is Sri Rav Shankar, and he's a has like 450 million disciples, and he's done work in the prisons, and he's had over 800,000 people do his practices in the prison system. The dude is established in such a massive way. And then I had, someone from his team reach out to me asking if he could be on the podcast. And I was like, of course, hello, love it. Let's talk about the real stuff. So it varies, sometimes I have people reaching out to me and I think that they're really interesting. Sometimes I have, most of the time I have my team reaching out to people that I know personally, like Sophia, or people that I'm really inspired by. Like we had Julia Cameron on the show who wrote The Artist's Way. Her book has casually sold over 5 million copies, and she really is the queen of creativity, as the New York Times calls her. So I've had her on the show. I mean, I actually am a little bit wild. I batched recorded. So I recorded episodes for an entire year. So this year I'm just doing a couple of people that I'm really, really inspired by. So I have episodes launching all through this year.
Okay, so you batch. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So what does that process look like for you? Like, do you just like schedule everybody and then tell them, okay, we're gonna just go? Or how does that work for you?
It is freaking wild, to be honest. But the good thing is that I love talking. I love getting to know people. The beautiful thing about having a podcast is that it's in the for anyone who has a podcast, you're talking to people and you're listening to yourself talk. So you're learning so much about yourself and you're learning so much about your guests. So there's this enormous educational and an inspirational component to it. During the batch process, it was partly because I wanted to take a break. I closed the Spiritually Sassy school, which a lot of people are upset about, but I needed to, realign with my vows, realign with my purpose, realign with my message. So I decided to let's record episodes, enough episodes for an entire year so I can spend more time in prayer, spend more time in meditation, spend more time dancing, spend more time doing service that I don't get anything in return. Oftentimes with the nature of my work, like anyone's work, we do need a monetary support to keep going. But a huge part of my mission is to help people who are in rehabilitation centers in places like Nepal, in a rehab center in Kathmandu, and now here in Bali, where I'm currently living. And I don't get paid to teach at the rehab center in Nepal, Kathmandu, and working with the kids here at an orphan center in Bali, Indonesia too. It's like I want to shift. I want to, and I am, and I have already, more and more of my work to be helping people who have nothing. Because I've been so karmically blessed to work with these global celebrities and do things in a really large, beautiful scale, and get very well financially supported for that. So all of that money and all of that is to really funnel the resources for the people who have really nothing, you know?